Here are the Harry Potter wands of all Hogwarts staff, with 2 that you might not be aware of. Let's take a closer look. Having collected Harry Potter wands for quite some time, it's always fun to decide which to buy next. Now, I've said it before and I'll say it again, I love things that are straight out of the film that I get to own. I love the creativity, I love the design, I love the effort that goes into making props. And wands are simply magical in my opinion. And getting to own a bit of that Wizarding World just makes it feel a little bit more real. But after having a look through my Harry Potter wand collection, I realized that I pretty much had most of the Hogwarts staff wands apart from 2, and I'll go into those in just a moment because there's actually a bit of confusion with those 2, but stick with and I'll go into depth of what those ones are. But going first is Dumbledore's wand. So I thought that I would showcase that one first, and it does come in a lovely blue Ollivander's box and it has this fabulous ribbon and the certificate of authenticity in. Now, the wand nerds that watch my videos, and I'm a self-proclaimed wand nerd, would say that this isn't Dumbledore's wand, this is the Elder Wand. I know, of course it is the Elder Wand, but for the people that aren't as aware as us, the reason I refer to it as Dumbledore's wand is because that's how Noble Collection listed. Now, we do know that there is a wand that Dumbledore owns before this wand, and that is also Dumbledore's wand, but that's for the Fantastic Beasts collection. It's like a swirly root one, and I've done reviews on that one, but this is the wand that Dumbledore has for the Harry Potter film series. So that's why I'm referring to it as that. Now, back to this one. So the Elder Wand / Dumbledore's wand is a very long wand, and it does taper to quite a fine point. I would say it's very flexible. It's very delicate. I've dropped this before and chipped it, and this is a brand new one. So please, when handling these wands, do handle with care. They are display only. So if you're gonna do any foolish wand waving or drop them like I do, they can break and they're very expensive to replace, so please be careful. The design of this, I believe, are supposed to symbolize with the dots, and they are like berries from an elder tree, because this is made of elder wood. Well, these aren't, these are made out of resin, but the original. And I'm guessing the symbols on there could be like death symbols or just runes in general, but a very cool and a very popular wand. A lot of people know this to be the most powerful wand in all existence. So it is a great wand to own, and I do love Dumbledore. I think he's my favourite character. So I had to own this wand. So on to the next. Next up in this teal Ollivander's box, because that's how long ago I did buy this wand. Because they're not all of the ones are available in the Ollivander style boxes. There's only a few that are still left, but it does have the certificate of authenticity and quite a light blue ribbon in there, and it has white soft velvet, and this is, of course, if you are familiar, as Professor McGonagall's one. And I have a lot of love for Professor McGonagall. It's a very sturdy, quite a long wand, and it has this really cool like resin. It could be, I guess, symbolizing amber, of what this end would be in this little like ball handle, and it goes down to quite, well, it didn't go to as much of a tip as the Elder Wand, but it's very dark rest of the wand, but I would say a very sturdy and strict one, because we know messing around with Professor McGonagall, because you've got to respect the strict teachers, which I always had a great fondness for the strictest teachers. They were always the best in my opinion. But yeah, love McGonagall's wand and a very favourite. So if you normally see these in shops, I've mentioned it before, the ones that are on display, often this is broken off because people don't handle them very gently, and because they are, again, display only, they can break easily. So if you do own this one, be careful of the tip, because it is very delicate, as you should be protective of all your wands, but there are great items to own, and I do love this one a lot, and especially as I have this in the Ollivander box, which I'm very pleased to own. So that is McGonagall's wand. A fairly new addition to the Noble Collection product range is this very long one. And if you aren't familiar, you'd be like, who on earth has such a long one? But those of us that know, it can be only. Now, unfortunately, these don't come in like soft velvet like the other ones do, and there's no ribbon. It's not so fancy because, well, Hagrid's wand wouldn't come when he bought them. But it's nice that they did make such a long wand box for this, because Hagrid's wand would have been different. It may have been as long as this, but his umbrella is supposed to conceal his wand. And this actually is the only wooden wand that Noble Collection does, because this is a working umbrella. And I won't open it fully, because I've done that in other videos, but it is a fabulous wand, and that it has like real metal end and real metal portions of that. And well, I guess I said I wasn't gonna, but let me show you what it does look like. So it does open up as a real umbrella, so it is in a sense a working umbrella. Not that I would use this expensive umbrella in the real elements and damage it, because even though it is a working umbrella, I wouldn't say that it's not a display only item. So do be careful with these expensive merchandise items if you do decide to own them. But fabulous that is now part of the Noble Collection range. It is a magical and flamboyant and just cool cool umbrella indeed. I do like it quite a lot, and it's fabulous that it comes in such a big one box too. But that is Hagrid's umbrella, because of course he taught care of magical creatures. Next up, in quite a lot smaller box, I'm going from one of the biggest characters to one of the smallest. It is Professor Flitwick, and this I actually purchased, got as part of a event at the Warner Brothers studios, Harry Potter Studios, and this is Flitwick's wand, and it comes in sort of this hard foam that's molded to the wand, so a little bit different to the Ollivanders boxes, but a very unique wand indeed. And the reason I got that, the gold party, was because Warwick Davis, the actor who plays Professor Flitwick, was then in attendance. So I was like, what a wonderful way to remember the evening and to get Professor Flitwick's one, because Professor Flitwick was there. And it sort of swirls into this different kind of, almost, I don't know if you can see that, like a star, almost like a star. It's like a section of, like like a branch with all roots. Very, very cool. It's quite a long wand as well, but fitting that there'd be a lot of amazing charms that come out of this pretty spectacular one. Very simple, but I do love simple ones too. And it does actually taper to a darker point, if you can see that. So it's like a light, and then goes to a darker point there as well. But a very fabulous wand. Next up, in this very bright purple box, and if you know, or if you've seen the label, this is Professor Pomona Sprout's wand. You wouldn't have thought they would come in such a bright purple. You'd think maybe like earthy brown or yellow, because she's the head of Hufflepuff House, but no. It is a bright purple box, and we'll just go with it. Comes with the foam casing too. There's also a name clip in there, and this is Professor Sprout's wand. A lovely, earthy, knobbly looking wooden wand, although they're looking like wooden. They're all of these wands made out of resin, apart from Hagrid's umbrella wand. But it looks like the wood on the end, and it looks like it's been, as you can see, the color difference, where it's like lighter on the end, it's like been worn away, where the actress Mira Mogley's saying that she'd be taking her wand and like putting it into pots of soil, and it would be worn away in the end. And I think that's a lovely addition to this wand, and the character that she's teaches herbology, and that her wand symbolizes that magic that she would be teaching at Hogwarts, which I love that quite a lot. And of course, being a Hufflepuff, I'm glad that I now own the head of my house's wand. Next up, in this green box, and you'd imagine probably that it might be a red box. Well, that's what I would imagine, that this particular character, and this is Madame Pomfrey. Now, not a professor or a teacher, but certainly a Hogwarts staff member that should definitely not be overlooked. in discussions I've heard from people saying that one of the characters that just didn't ask questions, had to deal with a lot of hormonal teenagers with magic in the whole of Hogwarts and just got on with their job and kept everyone as healthy and happy as possible. An icon that we should not forget at all, because Madame Pomfrey, just fixed Hermione even though she was like, half cat and didn't ask any questions. But yeah, a very ditty little one. It's very quite small. I'm guessing the actress would be more on petite frame, but very simple. And I believe the end is supposed to symbolize like a bedpost, so like hospital bed, but a very, very small little dainty one. A proper healing, safe, healthy magic would come out of this one, but very, very simple design, and that it is wooden and wooden looking too. I do like that a lot, but definitely not a character to be overlooked, because she kept everyone and fixed everyone after everything. Yeah, just a very amazing wand that we shouldn't overlook, and the character too. Next up in this orange box is Professor Sybil Trelawney, and I wouldn't have naturally put orange with it. I think I would have probably put like purple or blues, but regardless, I'm really happy that it is orange and I can now add this to my collection, because I normally have this section of my shelf completely full of wands, but I've taken them out now obviously to show you. But I like that higgledy-piggledy Ollivander style look, so orange will just be added to that now and it'll look fabulous. But yeah, so great on that. So that's the orange box there. And then this is the one that, again, with the foam and the name clip. I guess quite a similar wand to Sirius Black's wand, because it does look very similar to this, and it's actually very, very light compared to a lot of the other ones, but it doesn't have as many etchings and runes on as Sirius's wand does. This just has some runes and I guess mystical symbols on a few of the thing, not all of the handle, and it has this continual swirl pattern that goes right to the end. It does taper down. Again, a plain brown wand. This is made out of resin, but looking like wood. It is a cool and different wand than you would imagine, meaning of the lightness. And I guess you think quite lofty and mystical when it comes to Professor Trelawney. But yeah, a very interesting one. It kind of like swirls and swirls. Is it supposed to be hypnotic with the swirls? Possibly like to put you in a trance, like when you're having a, predicting the future, or or accidentally predicting the future. But yeah, a fabulous one indeed. Next up, in an Ollivander's box that was a yellow box, and again, that's how long ago I did purchase this one. But it does have the certificate of authenticity and comes with quite a light, coloured ribbon and stuff inside. But this is Lupin's one. I got this at a convention many years ago, but this for a long time was one of my favourite ones, because I love how thin and how elegant it is. It's almost like conductor's baton, but it has this normally quite heavy handle, and that it's almost been worn away with fingerprints, or worn away with handle, and the taper to it and it's quite flexible, I would say, and light. I just loved it. I thought it was really delicate and just quite understated. And you would imagine with Lupin's wand that it would be more gnarled and damaged, but I guess because he knew things were coming, he would put it away. I'm hoping anyone that's still watching by now wouldn't mind spoilers, but before transforming, well, that's not a word, he'd put it aside and then do the thing and then come back and then get his wand. So I guess that's why it is in such pristine condition, because it wouldn't just be all of a sudden then he has to damage his wand, because he'd be going through a wand a month basically. Yeah, so good that he kept it. I like it a lot. Next up in this blue box, and it's still in the Ollivanders box because of how long ago I purchased this, but it is an Ollivanders one, and it has a certificate of authenticity, and it has the ribbon and the velvet, this jewel. But this is a Mad-Eye Moody's wand, and a very small wand, and I believe you can't purchase this wand anymore in this particular design, even though Moody's wand is still available. It's a little bit longer and it has like metal parts or silver parts in that. And this is the one that featured in the film, so when he turns Malfoy into a ferret. And I'm not sure why they stopped making this one, because I do believe after talking to the designers and the creators of wands in the films, Moody actually had 3 wands. So he had this one, he had another wand, it's like the one you can purchase from Noble Collection, and he had a silver one that you actually see in the film when he's talking to Harry about what's he going to do about his dragon. But then on display at the studio tour, that there's a one there that almost looks like it's got knobbles on the end, like almost like a truncheon. Truncheon? That medieval weapon. So completely different to that. So I'm not really sure what's going on with all those different ones, but I just know that this one was in the film. But it makes sense that Moody would have so many ones of having constant vigilance and being prepared. He'd have different ones around. So I guess that makes sense. But I'm glad that I do have this original wand. And I'm sorry to say that it's not easily obtainable. And I believe maybe very quite rare now. But I do have this Hogwarts Staff members wand. Next up we move to potions, which is this black box. And you'd imagine that someone with a black box would be a different character. But again, I purchased this so long time ago that it still came in the Ollivanders box. And it's got lovely green velvet in. And this is Professor Horace Slughorn's wand. Such a fabulous one. I just love how different it is. It's got like curvature in it. It tapers to such a fine point. It has these like silver or slug, almost like a slug trail design on. It has like metal parts in there and this like pearlescent type handle with a little, looks like a little slug like eyes on there. I believe these bits are very delicate, so do be careful if you get this one. I love it so much. Extracting memories. Yes, such an amazing wand. I love it a lot. Next up in this sort of army green wand box, it is a notorious character. And there's a certificate there with the ribbon. This is still available in the Ollivanders box. And this is Professor Severus Snape's wand. A dark, elusive, interesting wand with very delicate handle. I've heard some commenters and people say that by all the detail being in the handle, it's like covered by his hand. I'm probably misquoting this, but it's only until you get closer and you can then observe the complexity of the character and the wand. And I did like that analogy very much so. I like the detail that's in the handle. I think it's like Celtic or Celtic, depending on how you pronounce that. But very simple in terms of just how dark and how black this wand is. But a fabulous wand, and we know that whether you love or hate this character, you can't deny that he's a very interesting character, definitely. And yeah, lots of love for this one. And when I purchased this one was the actual 19 years later on that day. So there's fun memories behind this one, which I'm very pleased about indeed. Next, moving on to a one that doesn't actually come in a box, but an Ollivanders box, is this garish pink stand Dolores Umbridge wand. The wand is a little bit different nowadays. I believe that way back when it used to be 2 parts, so this part would be separate, and that part would be separate, and then secured together with, well, there was like a marble in there, but I believe there were severe problems with manufacture of it breaking. So now you can see the metal rod that's through there, because often the resin ones do have a metal rod in, which is a shame, but I'm happy that the wand is still available to purchase, or at least in the UK. I'm glad that I do have that as part of my collection. So I'd rather have it than not have it, just to get rid of the like metal rod. So yeah, I always imagined it to be more pink. Like I thought there were like rings of pink in it, but it's actually just completely brown. And there's like a pink tint with the gemstone, or like what this resin would have been. It is slightly pink. And in photos, people like adjust the pinkness of that. But I guess it should probably be more pink to represent the character, because she would have seen it and be like, I think that one would be for me, and then it would be. But yeah, even with the fact that there's a bow there and there's a lovely stand, very unique wand, a very iconic character, regardless whether you hate, because we all hated Umbridge, but yeah, fabulous, as should be the wand. Now moving on to the two controversial ones, and this wand you can actually purchase in a wand box, and this is Electo Caro. Now I'll go into depth in this in just a second, but let's open that up and show you what that looks like. So it has the foam, there is a name clip in there, and this is what the wand actually looks like. So it has this kind of a root handle that's like battling with three different roots. There's a light, a medium brown, and a dark brown root that almost has like thorns on it. Very unique one. I've never seen anyone like this where it's got the handle, the root, and then it cleans. So it's like smooth and rough. But yeah, with Electo Caro, this is what Noble Collection lists her wand as. And yes, it's interesting. I never really thought it was the most amazing one. That's just why I hadn't purchased it. But I did get it, so I had Electo Caro's wand. But then after having a look through this book, which is the wand collection of all the films, and pretty much that the length and everything is correct. In this one, for Electo Caro, which you can see there, this wand is listed. So I was like, well, that wand doesn't look like the wand I just showed you. But there is this wand that also comes in a box that is just the Death Eater wand skull. And that's how that's listed. So, and it's in a similar type box. And so we open that up, and that doesn't have, you know, any names on that or anything. But getting this one out with a name clip as well is this funny looking skull wand that almost looks like a puppet. Horrible looking. But it is the wand as shown in the wand book. I don't know if I can do it both together so you can see the difference of what they look like. That is, according to that book, Electo Caro's wand. So whose wand is this? Maybe she had two wands? Maybe this was the one that she had after this one was like battled off of her during the Battle of Hogwarts. Who knows? But according to Noble Collection, that's the Electo Caro wand, and according to the wand book, that's Electo Caro's wand. So I have both wands. So that's the first controversial one. Now on to the next. Moving on to the final Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher. According to this wand book, we know that that teacher was Amicus Caro. Hopefully you can see that there. And there isn't a wand that Noble Collection sells that has Amicus Caro on it. But we know from the book that this is his wand. And they do sell a wand like that. And that wand is the Death Eater wand snake. Okay, so still in a wand box, exactly the same like everyone else, with the foam and the, yeah, you get the name clip in there as well. And it has that quite large snake wand in there. As a snake face that almost looks like a smiley snake, but it has this horrible skeleton that, I don't know if there's a snake coming out of his face, but yeah, quite horribly hideous. But that is Amicus Caro's wand. So although not listed by Noble Collection on the wand box, who knows what's going on with these Death Eater wands and why they're so confusing. But according to the wand book, this is Amicus Caro's wand. So I'm now pleased to add that one to my collection because it has these sort of scaly snake scale design on, and it even has the scales. So if you're into snakes and you like Harry Potter wands, then this would be definitely a good one for you to have. And it was, you know, by a Hogwarts professor. You know, all intents and purposes, it was a dark arts teacher, not really defense against the dark arts, but yeah, that's that wand. Sadly, of some of the Hogwarts staff that were in the films, there aren't wands available for individuals like Professor Quirrell. We've got Professor Lockhart. We've got Irma Pince, the Hogwarts librarian. We've got Gilderoy Lockhart, defense against the dark arts teacher, and we've also got Madame Hooch, who taught flying lessons. So, and also the Quidditch referee. So those ones aren't available. I would particularly like to see Professor Lockhart's wand, even though I have a version of that as a fan-made one, but official, I would like to get, well, actually all of them, but first off, I would like to get Lockhart's. Let me know in the comments section which you'd actually like to see first, if Noble Collection were to make any more. So there we are, those are the available Harry Potter wands of Hogwarts staff. I've got to say my favourite has to be Professor Slughorn's. I love how unique and different and complex this design of the wand is. I love how it has the curvature and the silver and then the sluggy lake type head. So interesting, but let me know which is your favourite other ones featured. If you have enjoyed this video, then please do me a favour and click that subscribe button and turn on notifications so when there's a new video, you'll be notified. Be sure to give this video a like, and with that, remember, the Wizarding World is just one spell away.